Now usually on Dream Deals, Brendan and the team like to look at the more exotic side of sports cars. The sort of machines that cost more than your house. But for your Dream Deal this week, there's no need to rush down to the estate agents. Because this week we've got a car with supercar performance that costs about the same as a Mondeo. Launched in the early 90s, the car became a cult icon overnight. Now if you're a fan of rallying, this might look familiar. And what about full-time four-wheel drive as standard? And very supportive rally seats. Now you don't get those in a Montego. Oh no. Have you got any ideas yet? Well, if you haven't sussed it out, you're obviously not into cars. Because it can only be the one and only Subaru Impreza. Ever since its launch, the Impreza has wowed critics and the public alike with its unbelievable performance and handling. With a 0 to 60 time of around 5.5 seconds, the Impreza is a match for much more expensive machinery. And at just over £21,000, the WRX costs half as much. Now in this day and age, 215 brake horsepower might not sound a lot, but the impressive thing with the Impreza is just how it uses that power. We've got full-time four-wheel drive and we've got a turbocharger, so your power and your grip are instant, and when you change down and put your foot down, it's there, you're off. Now any self-respecting sports car has got to sound good, and the Impreza sounds fantastic. It's only a 4-cylinder engine, but it's a boxer formation, which means the pistons are lying horizontally. Even on tick over, it sounds like a mini V8, and when you start to put your foot down, that is fantastic. It all really adds to the excitement of driving this car. We've said before we've got full-time four-wheel drive, and the confidence that gives you with this car on the corners is superb. Combined with all that power and grip, it really lets you power through the bends. Very, very stable, very secure. And the thing that surprises me as well is just how comfortable the ride is at all other times. Introduced earlier this year, the latest WRX is a world apart from its predecessor in terms of looks. Gone are the aggressive rear spoilers, deep front splitter and brutal body kit. In their place, a more family-orientated styling. For a car with this sort of performance, it's really surprising just how nice the Impreza is to drive. A lot of these kind of high-performance cars, the suspension's very rigid, very low-profile tyres, and you get quite tired with them after a while. Things like the XE and the Elise. But the Impreza, no, it's really nice to drive. Even around town, if you don't want to go fast, you don't want to use all that performance, you don't have to. You just take your time. But when you get out on the open road and you put your right foot down, that's when the fun begins. Now, as well as the ride on this Subaru being much more refined than the old car, well, the lines have changed as well. Basically, the car's grown up a little bit more. The old one was very boy racerish, very big spoilers, pointy headlamps, and now it's just more refined and perhaps put a bit more thought into it. I think the other thing with cars like this, because you've not paid 100 grand for it, not that you're not going to be too upset if you crash it, but it allows you more to relax, even things like parking it up, driving through town. But even on the open roads, I've driven some really hairy rear-wheel drive cars, the big Aston Martins, and a lot of the time you're terrified, because if the back steps out on one of those, well, that's it, it's goodbye house, goodbye mortgage, and driving licence. Now for 20 grand, the die-hard enthusiasts are always going to buy a second-hand TVR or an old Porsche to, as they all say, capture the true classic essence of driving a real sports car. But what is it that makes a true classic sports car? Well, it's going to have iconic status, it's going to drive and handle supremely well, and it's going to sound fantastic. Well, the Impreza does all of those, and at 20 grand, you're getting a brand new car, so there's no worries about reliability and servicing. And of course, something this size, you get all your mates in and you're shopping in the back. Now, we're not saying that the Impreza Turbo is your ultimate sports car, but at 20 grand, it's certainly one heck of a dream deal.